Alright, Twisters, welcome back to another attention gainer for Wednesday for Zgirls, Everything Zombie Apocalypse. I'm Art as always, and today is the 21st. I'm recording this one a little bit later due to some storms in the area, things of that nature. We'll talk about those a little bit later. It is Memorial Day week, well, coming up on Memorial Day weekend, so I want to say thank you to everybody that has served, will serve, or is currently serving in the armed forces. Law enforcement and first responders. We wouldn't be where we're at today, be able to do what we do without you guys. So be safe and carry on out there. Alright, let's get right into it. Next little thing we're going to talk about, of course, we do our DIY, do-it-yourselfers. I'm a pretty big proponent of these type of little projects. If I can debunk one that doesn't work, then I'll do it. If I can't, if we find one that just does work, we'll just do that as well. This one I've had in my pack for quite a while, and I've actually got quite a few of them. It's a perimeter alarm. It's pretty simple, easy to use. I don't exactly remember where I come up with this idea or where I found it at. I know I come across it somewhere, but I can't remember where. There's probably goobly gunks of information out on the internet about these things. But basically, it's a tent stake with a mousetrap attached to it. Now, I can see right now everybody's going, what? Tent stake, mousetrap? I don't get it. Well, let me show you here, basically. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to take your tent stake, and I just went and bought a bunch of cheap plastic tent stakes, and you're going to take and put 2 screws and mount it straight to the tent stake through the mousetrap, just like this. Okay? You can see the screw there and there. No modifications to the mousetrap whatsoever. Pretty simple. And then you're going to take some penny nails. I don't know if you can see this one. Let me see if I got one that's got some of the paint rubbed off on it. Nope. This one's a little better. It's a little bigger too. As you can see right there, you see the nails? You're just going to take those nails and you're going to drill. You want to pre-drill the tent stake. You don't want to just pound nails through because it doesn't work so well. You're going to pre-drill the holes, and you're just going to put those nails straight through the top, right about where the arm of the mousetrap's going to hit the nails. Basically, what that does is that snaps on there, like that. So when you arm the mousetrap, you got it down here like this, and it's armed. Okay. And then you got your nails. Now, there's an important reason for these nails. We'll go on that for a few seconds. Let's keep going over the what else we got going on here. Now, you can see I used the one that had the piece of fake cheese on it, and the reason I did that is because it gives you multiple holes, and that's kind of a good thing because you're going to want to tie a piece of string through this. Okay? So what I did was I took it and I found the centermost hole, and I drilled a hole all the way through the tent stake. And you can see this little slot right here. That's where the string comes through. So if I take a piece of string, like such, let's see if I can get it threaded through there for you. Here comes a good old freedom train. But basically, you just thread that. I can't get through there because the end of this thread's all kind of, you can see. But you're going to thread it through there, and it's going to hook right here. And on the other one I actually have a piece of fishing line attached. See right there? So that fishing line would go through the hole on the side of through the back of the tent stake. Okay, so you've got mousetrap attached to the tent stake, 2 penny nails. It's probably smaller. I think these are like door jamb nails. I can't remember what they are. Right there. And then your mousetrap, and then your hole through the back so you can set it off. So now what you're going to do is you want to go ahead. Well, we're not going to actually arm it first. We're going to get the most important component. Everybody should know what these are. Caps. And they're just the ring caps. You can buy them for like 25 cents almost anywhere. What you're going to do is you're just going to break off 2 of them. Just like this, leave them together. See? And you're going to take this, and you're going to stick them right on top, nice and tight on those nails. Now in this case, these nails are a little too wide, so I'm going to pull them apart. just as such. so you can see. Okay? Got your nails, got your caps right on top, right? Now, you want to make sure that the your piece of cheese, your trigger, is nice and loose. So then you're going to arm it. Now, like I said, these are perimeter alarms. They can be used for perimeter alarms. You can use them for, you know, pretty much any variety of things. And that's it. Now, you can take these, you can drive them into the ground around your perimeter, around your camp. Say you're out camping somewhere. You can do it that way. You can put them around a cache there, you know, that you have out there, a cache. You can put them on doors. You can duct tape them to things. I mean, there's a variety of things that if you need an early warning of somebody coming in, they work pretty well. I can tell you I've used these for exactly what they're meant for in a variety of atmospheres, you know, in a variety of situations, and they work great, especially if it's nice and quiet and you're listening. You know, you're out doing a scouting or something. You can put these behind you, run a piece of string across the trail, and you've got it there. Because basically all that happens is once you set it off, let's see if we can get this to set off. Yeah, look at me flinching. Oh, it didn't work. Let's see if we can just do it like this. That's all it takes, is it pops it and sets it off like that. You got that too loud cap bang, and you guys heard that. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's simple, easy to make, and they work really well. They also chase off animals. I've had these chase off coyotes. I've had them, and actually we think it chased off a black bear on one camping that we went out on. We had a black bear in the area, and it kind of decided to come and visit, and we had these set up around the outside perimeter, and we found the paw prints, and the device had gone off, and we heard it go off when we got out there, but no bear in the area. So simple, easy to use, highly recommend. And like I said, it maybe cost me less than $2. And you get a bulk order, you know, and get some. Go to Walmart. I went to Walmart and got these tent stakes, the mouse traps, a couple wood screws, and a box of wood screws and a box of nails, and then your caps. Stick them on there. Ta-da! Away you go. So that's your DIY for this week. If you like it, if you got ideas, comments, concerns, suggestions, let me know. Make a comment, like or subscribe to the videos, and we'll go from there. Alright, now as we talked about, we're going to go right into our survival tip. As we talked about, as I mentioned earlier, we had some rainstorms come through here. Kind of nothing new for this area, for us. You know, Wyoming, we get snow in July. You know, we've had snow on July 4th. So it's not, this type of stuff happens all the time, but in a lot of places, yeah, see, I still talk for a living. But a lot of places, the weather is kind of in a set pattern, and people get used to that type of weather. And when they're used to that type of weather, they get complacent. And complacency is what kills. We know this. But you can't always predict the weather, because, I mean, look at weathermen. For the longest time, the only thing they could predict was the opposite of what the weather was actually going to do. No offense to any weathermen out there, but you guys know that. So you need to take the time and the effort to learn your area's weather patterns, and also learn what adverse weather looks like in your area. So like for me here in Wyoming, the wind, you can probably hear it, and you can probably see the trailer rocking a little bit. The wind blows all the time. That's nothing new. We're used to it. It's when it gets to be hurricane strength or higher, and even then, it's not too much of an issue. It's when the storms come in. See, what a lot of people don't realize is Wyoming, just like the Midwest tornado belts, gets tornadoes. We had one last year or the year before that come through that was pretty devastating up towards the Wheatland area. That's about 45 minutes to the south of me. So how do you know, and with the recent events in Oklahoma, you know, prayers and thoughts are out there with those people, the survivors, their families, the first responders. You know, be safe. Anybody needs anything, let us know. We'll see what we can do to help out. You know, I'm all about helping out. If I could get my way down there to Oklahoma and volunteer, I'd be already there, and can't do it. So, but how do you tell when a tornado is approaching? You know, for those of you that have never dealt with tornadoes, or even those of you live in areas with tornadoes, how do you know when it's coming? Well, I did a little bit of looking up because, like I said, I didn't know. We don't usually deal with tornadoes. Last year was kind of an eye-opener for a lot of people in this area. You figure Wyoming wouldn't have tornadoes. The atmospheric conditions for tornadoes is not indicative to this area, but we have them. So what I come to find out is one thing you want to watch for approaching storms. That's common sense across the board. You ever got storms coming, you watch for them. Dark, often greenish skies. Now, I've seen these before, and we often know out here that we see kind of a dark greenish sky. We're in for a doozy of a storm. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them as well. Large hail. We get hail all the time. Like I said, we get snow in July. So large hail to me is like golf ball size hail. You want to watch for that. Large, dark, low-lying clouds. See the mouth that gets going. The brain doesn't keep up. You see, it's this stuff right here. It's called old age. That's what happens. But large or dark, low-lying clouds. You know, that's kind of generic in the aspect of almost every storm that I've ever seen. Some of the storms that were rolling through here the last couple of days were exactly like that. So you have to be aware. Don't become complacent in the fact that, oh, it's just another rainstorm. It's not. It could be tornado coming through. Now, if you start seeing funnel clouds form, if you start hearing what sounds like a freight train at close range, roaring through, take shelter. Get to shelter. Find shelter. You want to make sure you're paying attention. You have to bear with me. I'm getting over a little bit of a seasonal cold. So, those are always fun. But the freight train sound and funnel clouds. Now, something that's kind of interesting out here, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen it before, we actually get water spouts out in the middle of fields and stuff. And basically what it is the wind gets blowing, and you ever heard of a dust devil? It's like a miniature tornado. It stands about yay tall off the ground. They're really cool to watch. I'll have to see if I can get a recording of one for you guys. But we'll get funnel clouds. Excuse me. Sorry, I know, gross, but all that mucus and crap's coming up, and it's better to spit it out than swallow it. Ugh. So, as I was saying, the water spouts are basically, it's a dust devil that's gotten big enough to start picking up water off the ground. And we don't have a lot of water laying around, but that water, especially after rainstorms around here, will pool up on the ground, and that spins and starts spinning, and people always think it's a it's a tornado. It's not actually a tornado, it's a water spout. But it's until after the fact, and somebody's educated enough or knowledgeable enough in this aspect they know this type of stuff, comes and say, hey, yeah, that's a water spout, not a tornado. Just treat it as a dangerous situation, and don't go chasing this stuff. Rule of thumb with anything like this is stop. Stop, think, observe, and plan. It's any situation. I mean, if you think about it, any situation that could be hazardous to you, use the STOP acronym. Stop, think, observe, and plan. Because there's no reason to go rushing into a situation without thinking. If you just rush in, oh, I know, no, you're going to hurt somebody, you're going to hurt yourself. Stop and think. In a tornado situation, you want to immediately take shelter. Any adverse weather situation, you want to immediately take shelter. Go to the lowest area that you have available. You got a basement, go to your basement. Interior rooms. If you're in a mobile home, modular home that's not mounted to a fixed foundation, go to another place. Go to another building. Evacuate the area if you have to. They're not made to withstand these types of weather. I mean, it's prime example. You see it all the time on the news. Mobile homes, the going rumor is mobile homes attract tornadoes. No, it's not so much they attract tornadoes. They just can't withstand tornadoes. They're not made for it. Avoid windows. Avoid any area that's going to channelize that wind. That's hallways that open to an exterior doors. Bridges and tunnels. Don't go underneath bridges and tunnels, because basically what happens is that wind, it just becomes a wind tunnel, literally. Excuse me. And it shoots everything right up underneath there. Just so this right here, this tent stake, now becomes a lethal projectile forced by 70-mile-an-hour winds, and it'll probably punch through the side of a car. I mean, not something you want to be messing with. Don't try to outrun a storm. If you're in the area, seek a shelter immediately, find the best location, and get there. If you get the chance to evacuate, get out of there. You know, you can replace property, you can replace objects, but you can't replace your life, and you can't replace the family's lives. So you don't want to be there. Watch for flooding. Okay, and then this is important for the next thing. If you're caught outside in a tornado situation, find a low-lying area, you know, culvert, a ditch, get down, cover your head, and stay down, stay prone. Don't spread out. Keep yourself nice and tight. You know, don't ball up, but lay flat on the ground and stay tight. But watch for flooding. You know, watch for flash flooding. You know, flooding can often be heard before it's seen. You'll hear a rushing sound, and you'll hear like breakage of trees, timber, a lot of chaos, crushing sounds. And if you're in a ditch or culvert and you hear that behind you or in front of you, get up out of there. Find another spot, get as low as possible. Don't lay on roads. I mean, that's just asking to get run over. And the roads are like, it's interesting out here because, like I said, the wind blows all the time. Roads are like natural channels for wind. I mean, it's a flat, smooth spot, no resistance, so that wind actually increases its speed on those roads. Whereas if you step off the road, it's not as fast. You step on the road, you're getting hit full blast with it. So don't lay down on the roads. One, you're going to get run over. Two, it just channelizes the wind. Just checking my notes, making sure I got everything here. Because, like I said, I didn't know a lot of this stuff. You know, tornadoes, we don't really deal with them a lot. So I started looking into it. So it's always good. If you're not learning every day, then you're not living. So, but it looks like I covered pretty much everything. Just remember, you know, stop, think, and observe, and plan. And have a plan in place for tornadoes, especially in the areas of the Midwest that have those tornadoes. I guarantee you they have them. It's just if you ever get a chance to watch the videos of it going through Oklahoma, again, prayers and thoughts out with the families. It's scary. It's a scary, amazing thing to watch. I mean, it's there and then it's gone in the blink of an eye, and it just the amount of devastation that goes through with it's incredible. So, like I always said, the zombies aren't the most dangerous thing out there. Mother Nature is, and she's finicky. So be careful with that. So that's how you deal with tornadoes. Again, I'm not an expert on all this stuff. I'm learning just as same as you guys. So if you've got any comments, suggestions, put them out there. You've dealt with tornadoes, let us know. Make a comment on the video or comment on our Facebook page. So let's go on. Got a cool gear review for you. Well, at least I think it's cool. So I was in the need of a shovel, and I've always had that my military grade e-tool, you know, the folding shovel. I don't like them, and here's a couple reasons why. E-tools are notorious for breakage after use. They're designed to be compact, which is great, and they fold all up, but what typically happens is that ring right here at the front of the shovel snaps off, or it breaks, or it tightens down and you can't untighten it. The handle will get stuck, you can't untighten that. I mean, it's just, and it might be just the e-tool brand that I was using. There might be some really great ones out there, but what I've come to find and what I've started to see trend-wise and also just personal use-wise is your shovels with a fixed handle on it in a small compact size. Now, of course, all of you have probably seen the Crovel. The Crovel is a piece of gear that I would love to get my hands on. Just a little high out of the price range for me. You know, I'm not indicative to throwing. I can't afford to throw out $100, $200 on a piece of gear just to throw it out there. I mean, if I save up for it, then yeah, I'll probably pick it up. But it's the price range is a little high for me. So I'm always looking for things that I can find that work for me, work great, and are within my budget. And I think a lot of you guys are in the same way. You know, there's that budget. You've got families, you got all kinds of stuff you got to take care of. Budget is a matter. You know, and a piece of gear, if you're going to buy it, it has to be functional, it has to work, and it needs to be reliable, especially for the price. And that's where I'm going to talk to you about this. I got me a pack shovel. And I call it a pack shovel because I can actually mount it to my pack. And what I did is I had an old e-tool case, military e-tool case. And I just cut a slot right here in the top. And it just slides right in. As such. Snaps down, you see? It's got the old Alice clips on the back so I can hook it to my pack. And I hook it in my pack upside down. And it's kind of like the old Jeep shovels that they had for the Jeep Willys. And I think that's actually what it's designed after. This one is made by, or at least it's sold by Red Rock Outdoor Gear, wooden handled shovel, number 50-05. And it's got a solid wood handle, comes down into the base of the shovel, and it's riveted into the shovel right here. And I'm pretty sure you could probably, if you wanted to, if you're worried about it, you know, pulling out or whatnot, put a couple set screws in here in this. And then the blade itself. And I mean, it's a solid piece of metal. You could sharpen it if you wanted to. I don't really see the need in sharpening my shovel because, I mean, if I hit somebody with this, it's going to hurt anyways, flat side or edgewise. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, there's enough room on here for two hands. I can put two hands on it. I can shovel with it. I can use it to dig out. I haven't gone and used it much yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this when I build my fire pit in my front yard this week. So I'm going to use it for some of it. I'm not going to use it for all of it because I'm not that much of a masochist and want to hurt my back and stuff, because you got to be careful with these types of things because you're going to be putting a lot of pressure and you're going to be bent over a lot. And like I said, gray in the beard, getting a little old. So I'm going to use it to dig out some, test it out, see how it does. I picked this up for about 16 bucks, which isn't a bad deal, especially considering the tool it is. And I've seen some on the internet going for around, you know, you got your Chinese e-tools. I've seen the Chinese e-tools. Those are kind of cool. Same concept for anywhere from $30 to $100. You know, you got they've got them all over the place. So for somebody on a budget who's looking for a good piece of gear, check out Red Rock's wooden handle shovel. Decent. It's hefty. I like it. I actually did hit somebody with it. They were lipping off, so I just thumped them. It was kind of funny. It works pretty good. So there you go. There's our gear review, and I'll tell you, I'll do a follow-up on it on how well it does digging, and maybe I'll even record some of it for you so you guys can see how it does. Let's go on book reviews. Real quick book review. Okay, so as always, I am a big book reader. I read books all the time. I'm always reading. It's a good thing. And I pick up a lot of books off of Amazon. You know, they got that free book deal. You know, you can pick them up all the time. You just type in free and it'll pop up books upon books upon books. If you're really into those romance novel books things, that's for you guys, the romance stuff. I'm not. But for you that like romance, Amazon's your friend. There's crap ton on there about those. But anyways, I picked this one up and I wasn't too sure about it. And it's called Out of Time by Monique Martin. So you can see the time. Ooh, slow down there. You can see it right there. Straight. Yeah, there we go. Out of Time. Not zombie related, not horror related. Well, kind of horror related, but in a very unique, twisted way. Basically, the concept behind it is you've got a professor of the occult and his assistant, and it's kind of. See, here I am going and backsliding on my whole romance thing. It's kind of a weird romance story in a way, but it's not. It's got, you know, the internal conflicts of he likes her, she likes him, but he's been hurt through life and all this stuff. It starts out kind of really slow. But as you get into it, it's kind of got the concept, you know, steampunk, time travel, the occult, but it's not like this blam right in your face. You know, it's not, it's like, there's all this stuff. It's really subtle in the way it does it, and it's really actually enjoyable. The more I read it, the more I couldn't put it down. I mean, I finally finished it about a day and a half ago. And the characters themselves are really well done. I really enjoyed, you know, you got two unique characters, the male and female character counterparts. The storyline is very interesting. It actually takes place in the 1920s. The book starts in modern times and it takes place in the 1920s. So it's a unique aspect that a lot of books that I've read don't go that direction. And the 1920s is one of those areas that are really unique and I really enjoy reading about. It's got the time travel in it, like I said. It's basically you've got this watch device that does its thing. I mean, I won't go too much into depth into it so I don't ruin the story for you, but I did pick it up for free off of Amazon. So if you're looking for a good book just to try out something different, look up Out of Time, and it's actually a series. I'm going to be buying the other 4 books. I think there's 4 or 5. The newest one's coming out it came out in May. So I'm going to pick up the other books just because I enjoyed this one so much. So check it out and let me know what you think. Was I off base? Was I on base? Did you enjoy it? It's always a cool thing to read. So, and regardless of what's going on in the world, you know, zombies are out there everywhere. You got to break away sometime and just enjoy yourself. And that's reading. It's a good way to do it. All right. So we've done our book review. We've done our shovel review. Let's see here. Okay. So, news and events. It's kind of been a quiet week. Of course, you still got the Michigan zombie walk going on. Got some Zgirl. Lisa got some prizes. See, check that out. I actually got it right this time. She got some prizes for everybody that's going to be attending, you know, for the costume contest. And I saw 2 of them in the group, and they're the Scare Bears. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Scare Bears, basically it's like a teddy bear that's... I don't know if I want to say that. It's a teddy bear that got giggity with Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger and all them lot, and then come out the other side looking pretty freaking scary. They're pretty cool. I mean, if I could pick one up, I would. They're awesome looking. So if you're really into those types of things, by all means attend that event so you get a chance to win those. Of course, we all know about Oklahoma. If you're interested in assisting Oklahoma, there are multiple groups out there, but do your homework beforehand. I posted up a link on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Zgirls Zombie Apocalypse, Everything Zombie Apocalypse. I posted a link up on a group that is asking for volunteers. They really could use those of you that can know how to run a chainsaw. Sawyers. If you know how to do that, they really could use you. They provide shelter, they'll provide housing, they'll provide food. The link and everything is on our Facebook page. Take a look at that. The Red Cross is asking for donations. Now, again, and this is always one of those situations, every time a natural disaster happens of this nature, everybody wants to help. That's great. But you've got to, don't just drop and run to the area thinking you're going to be able to help, because a lot of times over-intubated areas with people just becomes more of a detriment than a help. So if you're in the area and you can volunteer your times, by all means do so. Let us know, and we'll give you a shout out. And if you need anything, let us know as well. Because a lot of times you don't even have to get to the area. We can start working on maybe getting some donations sent to the Red Cross, do fundraising, whatever the case may be. We can look into that. We have a plethora of people and a forum of knowledge and information that we can throw out there. So if you do volunteer, be safe, give us updates, let us know how things are going. Donate, do what you can to help these people out, because in the long run, you know what, they're going to flip back and do the same thing for us. And that's what makes humanity what it is. Helping each other out. Because if we don't help each other out, then nobody's going to help anybody. And we become zombies. And that's what it is. So, volunteer your time if you get the opportunity to. Do what you can. And it doesn't have to be anything great. I mean, like I said, you don't have a lot of funds, and things are tight right now everywhere. If you don't have a lot of funds, a couple dollars, even that's going to help in the long run. You know, we're going to go look in the kitchen and see what food stores we got set up there that we can maybe send some along with a couple of guys that are leaving from this area for the first responders. Everything helps. So make sure you take the time, even prayers and thoughts. It helps. Send them out there. Send them up that way to any direction that you need to. It'll help you, it'll help them in the long run. So bear that in mind. There was something I wanted to say, and I can't remember what I was going to say. I got all solemn on you, and I'm going to apologize. I'm not usually all solemn, but you know, it's been one of those weeks, months. We've had some situations happen that, you know, put a lot of things in perspective, and you've really got to stop and look at what's going on around you. You know, like I said, Mother Nature is very finicky. She's very fickle. You can't take her for granted. You've got to take care of her, and you got to take care of yourself and your family. You've got to be prepared. You know, zombies make it easy to be prepared because it's a standard target. Everybody can deal with zombies in some way, shape, or form. You know, you have mental preparedness, your self preparedness. You've got it there. You know, being prepared in the heart to deal with hardships. A lot of people don't realize, just don't think about just how hard it would actually be to be in that type of situation. I mean, put yourselves in the shoes of somebody in Oklahoma right now. They just lost everything. And yeah, you can replace things, but what if that happens permanently? What if you can't replace that house? What if you can't replace those goods? I mean, it's just like losing somebody in the family, a family member, losing, you know, your wife, your brother, your mother, your husband, your children. You know, we live in a day and age where it's so easy to get everything. You're hungry, you go down to a convenience store, or you go to a fast food restaurant, or you go to the grocery store and you pick something up. You want to go see some type of entertainment. You jump in the car, you drive over to the movie theater, you go to the mall, you go this, or you jump on the internet and you purchase a movie, or you Netflix or Hulu or whatever the case may be. We've become complacent. We've become dependent upon the necessities in life that are so easy to get. What happens if they're not there anymore? And that's what you have to think about. That's what you have to be. It's not being prepared for because you're paranoid. It's being prepared in case something happens. And we've become so complacent in the world with the world that the dangers that were once there aren't being remembered. I mean, I live in an area where I've got the Oregon Trail, the Mormon Trail. The pioneers came through this very area where I'm sitting at. And being a big history buff, but you know, I've studied history from all gambits. And I'm constantly reminded, you know, what was the hardships these people had to deal with. It's just like this cold. I'm dealing with this, you know, I'm getting over my cold. I don't take cold medicine. And it's a personal choice for me. And yeah, it makes me miserable at times, but I don't take it because what if there's a time that I'm not going to be able to have it? And there's been times for me personally where I have been in areas I could not get cold medicine. I was sick and I could not get it. And it's not, I'm not talking like a week at a time. I'm talking for months, you know, where I couldn't get hot water, I couldn't get cold medicine. And a lot of people have not been put in those situations, and the people in Oklahoma right now are sitting there. The great thing about it is there's others out there that are able to give them what they need and help them out. Excuse me, but you've got to think later on down that line. What happens if it's not? What are you going to do if the power goes out and it's out for more than 30 minutes, an hour? You know, 2 days. I don't know how often the power gets blown out over here. You know, they just had a fire up in Casper that knocked the power up in Casper. And you know, all you could hear was, well, I can't watch my favorite shows tonight. Or the power's out and it's so inconvenient. It's inconvenient, but what happens when it's gone? What happens if it's gone? Are you ready for that? Are you mentally? I mean, you can have a generator, you can have supplies stacked up, but it's the mental that you have to be concerned with right now. That's what you have to be looking at. And let's call that my thought of the week, thought of the month. I mean, it's been kind of sitting on my mind for a while right now. You know, it's irritating. I lose internet at the house at least once a week because of the wind. And yeah, it's irritating at times, but then I sit there and I'm starting to find myself. I'm finding myself more and more and more spending less time on the internet, less time watching the TV, and more time out doing things with my family, you know, planting the garden, going for hikes, whatever the case may be. And for me, that's a big step in a direction, because I'm a very big video gamer. I'll say that right now. I spend a lot of time, because not only do I do it at work, but I do it at home a lot too. And I've actually broken off, and I'm not doing it as much anymore. So I'm going to throw a challenge out to you guys. Let me know what would be difficult for you. What's that one thing? I mean, honestly, for me, losing the power would be very devastating. You know, it's not just so much having supplies and things, but my life revolves so much around electronics and the internet and things of that nature that it would probably be a little difficult for me. And that's me, all honesty. It'd be a little difficult for me to adjust for that little bit. You know, it's nothing to pick up my smartphone and check Facebook, or, you know, look at the weather or whatnot. You know, check my email. I don't know how many times a day I do that. So what's something that would be difficult for you in that situation? And how my challenge to you is to start working on moving away from being so locked in and dependent upon that. If something did happen, how would you deal with it? And I'm going to leave you with that. And kind of solemn video this week. I apologize. I rambled a little bit, but sometimes my gear reviews are going to be short, sometimes they're going to be long, sometimes it's going to be nothing but one big review on one item. As it gets warm, like I said, we'll be going out doing some shooting and testing of other things, so that'll be out there. So as always, if you enjoy my attention gainers, my videos, please by all means like, subscribe, comment, throw me some comments out there, guys. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to hear, what you want to learn about, because I'm doing this as much for me as I am for you, but it's more so for you to see what you want to know, what you want to learn. So with that, I'm going to call it a day, go out and do some gardening. Everybody be safe. Keep Oklahoma in your thoughts and prayers. Watch the weather. And as always, keep it twisted and carry on.